Devin Booker left game 2 with concern for a right hamstring injury sustained on this chase down block attempt. And in this video, we're going to take a closer look at this potential injury. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Sutterer, and in this video, we're going to talk about Devin Booker's latest concern for a hamstring injury. Now, important to understand right off the bat, this appears to be his right side. The hamstring injury he sustained earlier in the season, in which he missed, I believe, 7 games, was his left side. So first of all, the discussion about re-injury rates for hamstring injury, 2 different sides, different injuries. This was the play where it occurred towards the end of the third quarter. Booker goes in here for this chase down block attempt, and you can see how this right leg goes up into a severe amount of hip flexion, as well as some hip abduction with the hip coming out to the side and maybe a little bit externally rotated. So here in this position, hip flexion is whenever we bring the knee up towards the chest. Hip extension is whenever we push the knee back down to straighten the leg. So here, as he goes up, when his knee comes upward into that maximum amount of hip flexion, what that's going to do is it's going to stretch the posterior portion of the thigh. And the posterior portion of the thigh is, of course, where the hamstring muscles live. Whenever you stretch those hamstring muscles, you raise concern for possible tear of those muscles, which is a hamstring strain. I'll say too, the amount of abduction, meaning how much the hip is kind of out to the side with a little bit of maybe external rotation, is also going to put some stress on the hamstring, but potentially some stress on the groin muscles, the hip or the thigh adductors that sit on the inside. One good prognostic sign right away, Booker did not seem to be limping off the court. He didn't appear to be antalgic, which is reassuring that maybe pain wasn't so severe, at least right away. Similarly, when he was on the bench, we could see the massage, the kind of tissue work being done more distal, more so in the muscle belly, as opposed to up higher near the buttock where the muscle tendon originates, which is generally a more concerning injury. With the biodigital anatomy tool here, let's talk about our hamstring anatomy. So there's 3 main hamstring muscles. The third has actually 2 components, but they're the semimembranosus, the semitendinosus, and the biceps femoris. They sit on the posterior or the back side of the thigh, and they originate up at the ischial tuberosity, or the sit bone. The biceps femoris is the one that's most commonly involved with a hamstring strain or a muscle injury, and it actually is comprised of a long head and a short head, which is this little component right here. Hence why sometimes we say there's 4 hamstring muscles. Based on where those span in the back of the thigh, you can imagine how if the knee is swung up this way into flexion, that's going to put a lot of tension on the back side of the thigh. That tension is going to put more stress on the muscle, making it more predisposed to a tear. Prognostically, hamstring injuries that are more in the muscle belly do better than hamstring injuries that are located up near the tendon. And so again, where the athletic trainers, the medical staff were sort of massaging down more in this muscle belly, is at least one initially reassuring prognostic sign that we can see from the video. Ultimate severity here is definitely to be determined. Hopefully this was just a little bit of a minor stretch that Booker was being extra cautious about given what he felt with his previous hamstring injury. His prior injury on the left side earlier this season, he missed 7 games. And so, of course, it's the playoffs. Every game counts a little bit more, but really it's too early to say how much time he could miss here. There's certainly some good prognostic signs, again, where the location of the pain seemed to be, the fact that he wasn't limping a lot when he came off the court, but even a mild hamstring injury can still result in multiple days lost, which of course in the playoffs can be a big deal. I'm also glad to see too that this isn't a re-injury of the same side, because the more you pile on those repeat injuries, the more challenging they can be to overcome. So if this is a very mild thing that Booker got on top of very early, there's some good prognostic signs here, but overall to be determined the actual severity until we likely see more advanced imaging like an MRI scan or an ultrasound. That's it for the video, everybody. Let me know as always any questions or comments down below, and until next time, we'll see you later.